This may be a long read, and I apologize. I, F, 25, have been dating Dawn, M, 26, for about 7 years now. For those that do not know, a birth parent is a mother and/or father that reproduces a child, that are then put up for adoption. For context, I have never wanted children from a very young age. I grew up in a very toxic household. I have had a traumatic life and have mental illnesses including paranoid schizophrenia. From the beginning of our relationship up until the halfway point, he had wanted to have kids, even though I have told him that I did not. He started to change his mind around year 4, saying that he didn't want kids anymore because he thought about it and it just wasn't as appealing anymore. That same year, I got pregnant. The pregnancy was fine overall physically, however the mental and emotional toll was out of this world. I had prenatal depression that only increased the closer to labor I got. I spent majority of the pregnancy telling him that I want to do all we can to keep them. We weren't financially stable and both worked scattered hours while going to school still, but I wanted to try to make it work. Well, a week comes before I go into labor, didn't know at the time, and we were out walking when he suggests looking at adoption agencies. We have talked about the possibility of doing it, but as a last resort, if we couldn't get our shit together in time. We look, finding a family we love. Then I go into labor for almost 2 days and we both decide that adoption would be the best thing for all of us, especially our child. That was about 3 years ago, and our child will be 3 next April. We all, us and the adoptive parents, agreed on an open adoption where we get email and text updates plus 2 yearly visits. We have also agreed to give them a second child in order for me to have a hysterectomy and remove my ovaries since I have the gene for ovarian cancer and cervical cancer. It doesn't make sense, but this is unfortunately our path. I am alright with that since they are wonderful people and treat our child in the way we wanted them to be treated. At first, I had a lot of worry, fear, concern, etc. because, well, this is new to me. My husband is adopted, but his adoptive family was very abusive and hurtful to him. My oldest brother was adopted, my biological brother, who ended up living himself shortly after we were reintroduced, me being the one that found him. So my experience with adoption isn't good. I spoke these to Don, and he insisted that I was tripping, overreacting, and not trusting him because he has been through it, and I haven't. When I tell him that it is different because of my own experiences with him and my brother plus I was the one who carried and birthed our child, it brings in a whole new level of fear, regret, etc. We tried looking into counseling for birth parents, but majority, if not all, are dedicated to the adoptee and the adoptive family. This really put an even greater toll on us because we had to go through our own grief with giving up a child without any help or guidance. It was a very isolating experience, especially for me when I talked with therapist after therapist about the situation, and many of them questioning why I would do that to my own child, how I could abandon them, and if I was an addict/abuser. This only put me more into a depressive episode, as I was already struggling from postpartum depression and PTSD from labor/delivery. I ended up just saying fuck it and tried to heal on my own. Today I am better but still struggle with PTSD and depressive episodes dealing with pregnancy and mothering. This leads me to present day. Dawn and I have been going about our lives as best as any couple can. However, since the beginning of this year, he has become more and more distant with everything. We both work full-time, go to school full-time, him in business for bachelor's, me in medicine for master's, and that is all that we have in common. He does not do anything in our apartment, I do. I get up, walk our dog, feed him, go to work, clean up the house, cook, walk our dog again, shower, do my own work, and get him ready for the next day. He just works, goes to school, shits, and sleeps. I know we are both busy, but I would still like to spend time with him. When I ask if we can go for a walk, just sit and talk to each other, go out and do something, etc. I always get in, I'm too tired, later, tomorrow. Nothing ever happens. Yet when he wants to play Mario Kart, go play baseball, or watch some videos together, I try my hardest to be there. No matter how tired I am. It has recently begun to get worse. I have told him that I just don't feel like a partner to him. How I feel like a single mother but I can't even raise my own kid. How I feel detached and disconnected from him physically, mentally, and emotionally, that I feel alone with him being right there. He said that I needed to tell him what I needed, how I needed it, what I wanted from him, etc. because he can't read my mind. So I have been doing that. I would ask him if he could take out the trash. He says to let him do it on his time. Took him 4 days to take it out after there being 2 garbage bags by the door. I ask if he can take our dog to use the bathroom at night because I don't feel comfortable. He said he would take him out at 8 p.m., yet we get up at 6 a.m. Him doing that wouldn't be good for our dog, which then would go to me, because he wouldn't wake up to our dogs whining to go out. I have basically asked him to stop doing anything. He has also taken up watching pornography in the bathroom with the lotion he claims to help with his dry hands. Yet the only time he uses it is when he is in the bathroom, at night, in the dark. When I asked him about it, he says that I am speaking low about him and that he couldn't look at other women like that. I thought, maybe I am overreacting and I should trust him. I reminded him that to me, call me insecure and controlling, that's fine. Watching porn is considered cheating. He said that I needed to stop bothering him. Then, I found him secretly logging into X, Twitter, then deleting the nonfiction. He has created multiple IG accounts to look at people who he knew growing up to see if they were blocked, deleted their account, etc. When confronted about it, he said that was it. I asked why he always had to delete it then if it meant nothing. He couldn't give me an answer. Back in 2018, he was messaging a girl on FB about them hanging out and him planning to leave me in a month. She sent me the messages and I told him about it. He said that it wasn't cheating because he didn't actually do anything even though he could. He said that he wouldn't do something like that again, yet he is showcasing the same patterns as before. Which brings me to the last 2 weeks. I worked from 8 a.m. to 11 p.m. for 4 days in a row. I put our dog in a daycare because I knew he wasn't going to get what he needed from us, mainly me, because of work. I got to work those days, pick him up, come back, shower, and start my schoolwork. Comes 6 a.m., the second day of my long shift week. Don comes up to me asking where his work uniform is since it wasn't on the door frame where I normally put it. I told him I forgot to get it out last night. He then asked me if I knew that he didn't have any work uniforms. I told him no, and that he could have put them in the wash before he left since he was going to get back before me. He then asked where his breakfast and lunch was, as I usually make that too for him. Told him I forgot. He called out that day. In that moment, I was perplexed at why he couldn't do it himself, and could he not see that I was also exhausted for him doing it all? Yesterday came, and I was mentally and emotionally exhausted due to my PTSD from my assault and labor/delivery unfolding. I told him that I needed comfort and time with him because I was really struggling. He said sure, then asked if I watched the debate. I told him that I wasn't mentally well enough to talk about the debate. We sat there, and I just gave up, saying that we could talk about the debate. He stopped talking after about 30 minutes because I didn't seem interested, even though I already told him I wasn't. He then got on his phone, and I lost it. I asked him if he can please, for once, put his phone down and spend time with me. Because all he ever did now was be on his phone, watch YouTube videos, or sleep, and I was tired of going through things alone. He said that he didn't know what else to do or talk about, and that the silence was awkward. I asked if all he could talk about was the debate, football, and work. He said yes, because that is all he cares about. I asked when was the last time he really sat down and talked to me about my feelings, my day, what I've been doing, etc., because we only ever talked about his day. I asked him how he makes sure my days are easier, just as I try to make his days easier. He said that I never gave him anything to work off of, because I was so bland. I asked what he expected since he doesn't act or show interest in me anymore. We are not intimate and haven't been in a while, which is making me feel so bad about myself. I kept going, saying that it's hard to get him to do the bare minimum or even look at me as a priority, because all he does is work, come back, rush to the bathroom for an hour and a half, shower, eat, schoolwork, and sleep. We don't even do anything on the weekends, even though he says that the weekends are for us to spend quality time together. Surprise, we don't. I say that, then walk away because I was upset and hurt. Well, the adoptive couple texted us with an update and to check in. He comes to me and asks when I was going to send out an email because we haven't sent one since March, while they send one every 1 month. I told him that I asked him to do it this time because I always do it and am running low on mental and emotional energy regarding that. He said that he has been too, but I always do it, so I should suck it up because he has told me from the start he can't work on emails or texts yet. I started to cry and told him that what he was doing and saying was exactly why I felt so alone, exhausted, and unwanted by him, which is causing me to think about leaving. He told me that I couldn't leave because then I would an asshole for ruining our child, Ren, even more. I asked him how, and he said that our child, Ren, were already going through enough by being adopted, and by us splitting up, they would think that it is their fault. Then he brought up bringing in new people to our situation, which can cause even more distress to our child, Ren, that would only make them not want to be around or know us even more. I was stunned and confused. Now, I am even more lost on what to do, or what is right to do. We have talked about going to marital counseling, couples counseling in general, but he has not made an attempt to look at therapists with me, or even try to fix things. I do not want to be more of an asshole to my child and future child than I have already been by putting them up for adoption, but I also do not know if staying would be for the best. I know this is deeper than a Reddit post, and I am in the works of getting proper help. I would just like opinions that are not professionally driven, if that makes sense. Thank you to anyone who reads and gives me the time of day.